Start this stream up. Let's see. I'm not testing it. This is my first time. Am I streaming? Am I live? Streaming health. I think I'm live, but I don't see myself, so that is an issue. Hold up. What's up, guys? This is not good. There's a major delay. Hold up. I'm gonna have to abort this stream. This is really bad. Let me just fix. I'm fixing the settings here. Bear with me if I. This is not good. I'm hearing myself and it's not good. Let's see if this fixes it. 1 2 1 2. There's just a major delay here. Wow. Fix it. Come on. Yeah, this is not good. I have to hear myself in real time. Hold on for a minute. Check my hair out. I just got out of the shower. So, yeah, this is really bad. See, I'm using a program called OBJ, and I'm getting to know it. Let's see, maybe 0. Let's see if that works. There's a major delay going on. It's really annoying. 1 2 1 2. Hey, what's up? Kyle, how you doing? I'm trying to straighten something out. Do you see my lips moving with my mouth? Do you mind answering me if you see? Because I'm hearing myself on a delay, and it's distracting. Am I delayed on your screen? Yeah, I probably am. Because I hear myself. You know what I did? I just muted myself so I could talk. Good? All right, I'm going to just ignore that. Okay, thank you for bearing with me if you get this far in the video. I just want to do some post-fight thoughts. If you go to my last prediction, you'll see that the Anthony Joshua versus Wladimir Klitschko fight, a lot of people were like, hey, you know what? It's a pick'em fight. The fight before that, the big fight. Thank you, my man. Kyle, I appreciate that. The stream health is not green, so it's not a good thing. There's a lot of issues here for whatever reason. So I picked the Berto fight. Someone said that, hey, you picked Berto. He was a bum. So what? Pick the Joshua fight. Pick the Anthony Joshua fight. That's a hard fight to call. But guess what? I was right. If you go to my last video here, you'll see that I was right. And I'll tell you why I knew Anthony Joshua would win that fight. Hold on for a second. I have to take a sip of some coffee. I predicted Anthony Joshua to win this fight. And it's a very difficult thing to do when a fighter doesn't have a long record. He was only 18 wins, 18 KOs going in, so we didn't have a measuring stick to see who Anthony Joshua fought before that. He fought an undefeated guy who was relatively unknown and American, and there wasn't much to go on besides big power and what we've seen in the ring. And I've seen enough to make a judgment where I thought, due to Vladimir's last fight, prior to the Joshua fight, he fought a fight against Tyson Fury, right? And he didn't look good. He couldn't pull the trigger. There's a lot of things going on here. Age is a huge factor. 41 years old. You start to go through the heavyweight history. Guys, I have no notes in front of me. I want you to know this is all off the dome, right? This is live. So age is a factor. If you go through the heavyweight history, how many heavyweight champions besides Foreman won the title over 40? The heavyweight championship of the world. Very difficult to do. I did make a remark, if he did win, you'd have to look at the drug testing. But you know what? He impressed me. Wladimir Klitschko looked amazing. I think if he fought any other heavyweight, he probably would have won that night. But we know a lot now thanks to this fight, because he was down, he got back up, he came back. It was a great fight for boxing, by the way. Great fight. It wasn't in Las Vegas. It wasn't in New York. It was in the UK in front of 90,000 fans. Amazing fight. Both of these guys put it all on a line, which a lot of fights in modern times don't do. In the pay-per-view era, they don't want to get injured. They want to come back, and they don't put it out there like they used to do in the old days. And this was a throwback fight. This was a fight that impressed me so much. There's got to be a rematch, right? Vladimir's got to come back. I'm looking at myself, my hair. See, lighting's a big thing here. I'll get into the YouTube talk in a minute. I have all the stuff, but I just threw this on and I don't want to use my light kits. This is my lowest subscribed channel. I digress here, but let me get back into this. This fight was amazing and I was right. I get no props. I'm an unknown boxing channel at this point. A handful of people watch, like 60, 50, 60 people. I didn't build this channel up, but all my predictions in the past are here on this channel and you'll see I know what I'm talking about. You know, I'm tooting my own horn. I am, because I got to take the wins with the losses. You cannot be right all the time, but I go on streaks where I'm right frequently on big fights where I know when two guys are coming in, I know their stats and I know what to expect, and I put it out there. I say who I think's going to win, and if I'm wrong on a prediction, I take it, I eat the crow, and I'll tell you why I thought I was wrong, and you can't be right all the time. But I got this fight right. It was a big fight, and it was one of those fights where a lot of these so-called boxing experts, the so-called ones that get the checks, they didn't get right because they didn't realize that they thought that Joshua would be dragged out deep. He's never been past seven, I think it was 7 rounds going into this fight, and I said in my prediction, I'll put it up in the little eye mark, the info button later here in the top left or right, my right, your right side of the screen, and you can see how I broke it down. But I said Anthony Joshua should try to take Klitschko out late. Klitschko's best chances early. That's why he came out dominant and looked for the early, I believe, KO on Joshua. He tried to get all the energy out there early because he knew, hey, you know what? I'm 41 and my legs might not hold up. He didn't even know what was going to happen in those late rounds. And I believe that this man was only 27, Joshua, so he has a good chance of winning this fight and taking Klitschko out late and or getting that decision. On top of that, we had the whole factor of being in the UK, and if it did look kind of close, was Klitschko going to get that win? If he did win, but that didn't happen because boxing is corrupt and the judging is corrupt. But overall, this was a great fight for boxing. Was the stoppage a little early? Maybe. They could have let that go a little. I believe so, but you know, you wanted to see it turn around and maybe he could have came back. But Klitschko put it all out there. He did everything he could do to win the fight, and he lost. But there's really no losers in this fight. I know it sounds cliche because Klitschko looked awesome. He looked better than he did when he was 33, 31. Remember the fight with Lehman Brewster? He was out of gas. They didn't know why. They even came up with a scandal in the corner. Emmanuel Stewart. They were hypothesizing, hey, someone put something in his drink. They didn't understand why he was so tired in that fight. So that was a long time ago. We are over 10 years later, I think maybe 15 years, and Klitschko looked like he was a 29-year-old fighter. Amazing. How did he do that? I'm really impressed. So if I'm going to say I was wrong, because I'm totally unbiased, and you know, I always say if I was wrong on something, and yeah, I was right on a prediction, but I was wrong about Klitschko looking like he was 90. He didn't look like he was so old in there. He looked really good. And he really impressed me, and it was a really good night for boxing across the board. Now, if you go into recent news, I'm looking at news right now. I just pulled something up. It says Anthony Joshua beating Wladimir Klitschko will go down in boxing history, but where does the Wembley bout rank in the list of the greatest heavyweight clashes? You got to start to look back. Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, the Thriller in Manila, in the Philippines, 1975. You got to start going back. You got to look at Riddick Bowe versus Evander Holyfield. And they had an epic round. I don't know it off my head, but I think it was the 8th round. It was just an epic battle where Holyfield looked like he was out on his feet. He comes back and he fights, and he survives that whole round. It was amazing. But that night, Riddick Bowe actually won that bout and lifted the title from Holyfield. And it's funny because at the time they were asking in the interview, I think it was Larry Merchant on HBO, sure, what's up, brother? I didn't see you. I'll be here for a little bit. And then at the end of that fight, Larry Merchant, from what I remember, this is all by memory, asked, are you going to fight again to Evander Holyfield? Isn't that funny? And I think Evander Holyfield just had turned 31 or something like that. He was in his early 30s. And nowadays, you got guys going till they're 40. Like, what? What are you talking about? 30 years old? Nowadays, if you get beat at 30 years old, it's like, what? I'll be fighting till I'm 45. Thanks, Hopkins and Klitschko. Klitschko is just going to make a lot of excuses now, in my opinion, for a lot of these fighters that reach 38, 39. Hey, look at Klitschko. It's one of those moments, especially with heavyweight boxing, because like guys like Floyd, the lighter guys, can go further in a career if they didn't take that much damage in the new era of boxing, But I think it's really just an amazing, great night. I was excited about the fight because I knew it was going to be exciting. I really did. I had a dentist appointment. I told the guy at the desk, hey, you're into boxing? I started telling him, hey, you need to see this fight. Because quite frankly, in the States, this fight had no buzz. Not a lot of people knew about it because, unless you're a boxing fan, of course, because of the household names. Who's Anthony Joshua? Who's Wladimir Klitschko? They couldn't even sell a pay-per-view on him, the mainstream. That's why you would never see him fight regularly here because he's considered boring. Is this stream still going? It looks like it kicked in live. Let me know if I disappear or something. Having issues with it. But, so to wrap this all up, it was just an amazing fight for boxing. It was really good. I think Anthony Joshua is another great example for boxing from what we see of him right now. He's out there. He has a great personality. He seems humble, and he has a lot of characteristics you want to see of someone. Even though he's from the UK, it doesn't matter. He's good for boxing, period. He's not one of these guys that gets up there and starts, cursing and this and that. He looks really good for boxing. He's humongous. He's 6'6", and he's a winner. He wins. People love winners. It gets kind of awkward, right? Because he gets people latching onto him. It was just a moment. There was a YouTube video, Gordon Ramsay, who I'm a fan of, actually. If you don't know who Gordon Ramsay is, he's like a giant world-renowned chef from the UK, and he's always on TV here in the States with shows like Kitchen Nightmares, Hell's Kitchen, and Master Chef. I like the guy, but there's a video of Anthony Joshua, one of his last fights before Klitschko, like 3 fights ago, going backstage, and he's there in a locker room with his son, and he's like, hey, I'll cook you a meal. It was just really awkward. You could see Anthony Joshua looking at him like, yeah. Oh, now you're here. Where were you like 3 fights ago? Who are all these people coming out of the woodwork? Now Dr. Dre's giving him surprise messages, because everyone loves a winner. But where are these guys, I argue? These fighters are putting their lives on the line, and if you look at a lot of boxing documentaries, you'll see when a fighter loses and goes through a hard time, maybe 1 or 2 losses, these guys are nowhere to be found. Unfortunately, life is like that, right? Everyone loves a winner, but only the real friends, just like in real life. Your real friends, trust me, guys, let's have a dude talk one-on-one, right? Trust me, your real friends are going to be there through the hard times, whether it's financial times, illness, whatever it is. You'll know who your real friends are because they're going to be there. Just like with boxers or any other sport or any whatever art or whatever you're into, you have a lot of success. Everyone's going to love you. But when the success isn't there anymore, who's going to be around when the smoke clears, right? Only your real friends and real family that really are behind you and supportive. And unfortunately, not everybody's like that. So Anthony Joshua, it's kind of funny. If you get to see that moment, put Anthony Joshua, Gordon Ramsay in, you'll see what I mean. And a lot of comments are like awkward. So what do we have to look forward to in boxing now? The heavyweight division was dead for the last, 13 years, arguably. You had the 2 Klitschko brothers, and then you had one holding on to that title. Then all of a sudden, Wladimir Klitschko steps in with a brash UK fighter named Tyson Fury. Big mouth, drummed up a lot of... I like Tyson Fury, by the way. He's exciting. He's a colorful guy for boxing. And then all of a sudden, he lifts those titles, and he has issues with sobriety or whatever, and they get stripped, and they go everywhere. You have a lot of paper champions. What I'm saying right now, in the heavyweight division, the real, true champion is Anthony Joshua. In my opinion, that's who... Deontay Wilder, all the other guys, you got to fight him if you want to be the real champ, okay? Because we know what time it is. The real boxing fans know. If you're running around with a title, great. I'm glad you're making money, you guys. I'm glad for all their success. They put their lives on the line. But the real champ is Anthony Joshua. Yup. And by the way, I got a question from Kringles. He's not around right now. If you want a YouTube, I'll give you quick advice on that. You got tons of channels. They're YouTube experts and everything. Some of them are really great, but some of them have never generated viral videos consistently like I have. I have a YouTube setup. I'll put in the video description below my YouTube setup. I have a lot of stuff, invested a lot into YouTube. I encourage, especially now with the AdSense and the YouTube boycott, if you're doing art or you want to be heard or be seen or you're inspired by something, do YouTube or something because you love to do it. Don't do it for the money, because I never started this for the money. So I have a Sony 5100A camera right here. It's white. It's really good. This camera is amazing. It flips up. You can even vlog and see yourself. I go everywhere. I've been to Europe and back with this. I had 2 of them, actually. That's a whole nother story. This is one of my cameras. I do my intro currently now on Look Now TV on my big channels, and I do a lot of my other stuff on it. Obviously, what I'm using right now is my Mac laptop, my Mac Pro Retina. You're seeing an HD camera. This is straight off a laptop. Bad lighting. I'm using what they call just a regular lighting from IKEA, but I have a whole lighting setup. This is one of my lights. It's a limo light kit. I have all this box light kits, and you'll look really great. You'll look professional. You'll look good on camera if you do the lighting right. And I use a lot of editing equipment. I have all types of plugins, all types of software, but he asked me, what do you do on YouTube? Hey, get me started. I gave him a link to a guy named Daryl Eves. He's one of the guys who I do believe knows a lot about YouTube. But YouTube we're in a funny stage right now, unfortunately. The whole original goal of YouTube was, hey, you create something original, you put it out there, you get rewarded, you get AdSense money. Unfortunately, now that ain't happening. It's a long story. A lot of advertisers are boycotting, and things are changing, and YouTube sees the data. In my opinion, I have a big conspiracy theory about it, but they're pushing everyone towards kid stuff, advertiser friendly, and it could just get to the point where if you don't have bubble gum and Disney costumes and Frozen costumes and you're running around doing straight up kids videos, it's going to get difficult. Because what is advertiser friendly now? Now we have weather events, and you can it's a broad general statement. They don't tell you too much. Fighting? I just said fighting. Does that mean this video is not advertiser friendly? So if I created a boxing documentary, spent 3 days on it, beautifully shot, put all this work into it, and because it says fighting on it, you might not get paid much for it anymore, because that would be considered advertiser, risky. It's a risky video. It's not advertiser friendly. So if you guys want to do your dreams, your art, your goal, and I could be of any help, I'm not a YouTube DIY channel yet. Maybe I'll do that here. I don't know. I would encourage you to do what you love to do. Someone said a long time ago to me, hey, how do you start your own boxing channel? I said, just get on YouTube and talk about boxing. But like I said, don't do anything for money, and do something you love, because you don't want to feel like, hey, I'm doing this and I'm not passionate about this. Like this right now, I'm here. I'm not expecting any money or anything, and I'm probably make 2 pennies off this video, but I'm here because I enjoy what I do. It's really fun, and I'm having a good time. And I like boxing. I'm getting passionate about it a little bit here again. And this channel is just my hangout channel or whatever channel. I just put whatever on it, and I'm testing live streams. I actually I have a live chat box, and I don't see it here on the screen, actually. I don't know if you guys see it, but it's not here. It should be here. That is unusual. I know, I didn't paste it in. Oh, well. So usually you see your name and you see what you guys talking. Like Kyle, man, you'll see your name. Blurgy will see his name. But anyway, as far as boxing goes, that was a great fight. I was right again. I get no props as usual. What am I going to get anyway? But I should, it's for my own archive, my own boxing archive, my own predictions. There's a lot of fights where I knew I was right and I never posted something. I said, wow, I should have put that up. This used to be attached to my boxing. I had a website, and I closed that down. And I used to have a boxing vlog and everything on there. But Anthony Joshua looks great. So we're going to see what happens, what unfolds. Does Klitschko sign that fight? I saw a glimmer of hope in the press conference. Klitschko started talking about something, and I saw a twinkle in his eye, and I saw him talking about the future of boxing, and it looked like to me that he might consider a rematch. So that would be good. Don't leave like that. Have that rematch and do it soon before he turns 42. I mean, every day is precious now, right? But that cut is really bad. That's going to take the minimum, right, of 6 months to heal. It was a huge gaping wound, and Stitch, that cut man, closed that up really awesome. So, I see one guy's watching out there, which is really cool. So, where would I want to go with this? I also wanted to say, Vasily, one of the best fighters that's out there. There was Guillermo Rigondeaux, a Cuban boxer who didn't generate a lot of buzz because he would fight these so-called safe fights where he's not putting it all on the line or whatever. But he is a really good fighter. And that Lemonchenko, that's right. He is wow, that guy is really good. The dude has been working on his footwork since 5 years old. What do I mean by that? He was put into a ballerina class at 5 years old. Sounds funny, but his dad put him into that to keep him in there for a couple of years to get his footwork right before he actually went into the fighting game and became an amateur. Decorated amateur, almost won every fight. The guy is amazing. It's going to be really tough to beat. He was beat once, right? Who did he fight? Solito? He was in there and arguably could have went either way, but the guy only had, one or two fights. He was fighting for a championship, which is unheard of. So this guy is the real deal. I mean, I'm really impressed by him. You go back to Pernell Whitaker, and you start to look at fighters like that. Back in the day, if you don't know who Pernell Whitaker was, he was Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker, great welterweight. He fought Oscar De La Hoya. In my opinion, he won that De La Hoya fight, and this man was an amazing fighter, amazing defense. He would get down low, he would crouch. There was nothing like him. He was a lefty, which is known as a southpaw. If you don't know boxing, southpaw means lefty. I went to a fight in Atlantic City a couple years ago, and it's a shame. Going back to what I was talking about earlier about Joshua, everyone loves a winner. At the height of Pernell Whitaker's career, he was admired, he was revered, everyone knew who he was. I saw Pernell Whitaker walking to the ring in a corner of a guy, I think he was from Philly or Atlantic City where I was. I was a couple rows back from ringside, recognized him instantaneously. Yo, Pernell Whitaker! It was a small ballroom event on TV for Showtime, and he heard me. He stood up in the ring, put his hand up, and looked so happy he was getting recognition. This is what's so sad about life in boxing and winning and all that good stuff. Nobody cared. Nobody cared that Pernell Whitaker was in the ring. Nobody recognized him, mostly except a fight freak like me, right? And I found that very sad. And that's why I'm tying that into, this is all unplanned, but I'm tying that into Anthony Joshua and him winning and Dr. Dre hitting him up and Gordon Ramsay hitting him up and Lord knows who else. Everybody loves the winner. Why isn't Pernell Whitaker getting any type of recognition? I don't know. Why isn't he, like, even, the guy was an Olympian. I mean, you see Evander Holyfield ringside because he's a heavyweight. By the way, I have a picture with Evander Holyfield. I should run and get it right now. Do you guys doubt me? I have it. Me and the real deal Holyfield. So, seriously, that's sad to me. That is sad. And I always use this analogy or whatever. If a painter just had to stop painting at age 40 or 35 because he painted too much in his career. There's boxers out there. Marco Antonio Barrera, one of the best Mexican heavyweight, did I say heavyweight? Welterweight, lightweights. He went through the division ever. He fought Pacquiao. Eric Morales. These guys went on to fight and with brutal wars. But could you imagine being a painter and being told, hey, you had too many painting jobs in your 20s, in your prime, and you're 30, and now you have to stop painting. So you can get kind of into a fighter's mind like a Roy Jones, a guy that cannot stop because of age. That's all they know. They only know boxing, and that's what they do for a living. It's like telling that painter, hey, at 40 years old or whatever, you can't paint anymore. Your reflexes are shot. The painter would keep going. So it's very difficult. Can you imagine stopping what you love to do because of age? That's something hard for a lot of these fighters to do. They can't let go. So when you see a guy like Roy Jones who keeps on going and ruining the legacy, that's what happens. And so I'm going to wrap this up. If you guys want to help and support the channel, I have those affiliate links. I do get kickback, but it's perfectly legal on YouTube. If you have any questions, when I say legal, it's not against their toss if you do things right. If you have any questions and I can help you, I'll help you out. Like I always say, go for your dreams. And when people tell you can't do something, it's BS. Unless the guy who's telling you you can't do something has a lot more than you, then I wouldn't even listen. Because I was always told you can't do this, you can't do that. When I first started my first YouTube channel in 2006, people laughed at me. What are you doing that for? Hey, look, I think about, at least I'm approaching 100 million views on all my channels. Dreams have come true. I've licensed out my stuff on TV. I direct. I dabble. I act. I do a lot of stuff, and YouTube has helped open a lot of doors for that. And that's a whole nother story. But what I'm saying is, don't let people discourage you on what you love to do. Don't let the haters bring you down, because that's all noise. because they feel threatened. They project their BS onto you. And a lot of people are good at projecting and telling you what you can and cannot do, and yet they have accomplished nothing. Just do what you do and what you love to do and keep doing it. I'll put that positivity and karma out there because I'm a firm believer in that. I've achieved a lot of dreams. I've made a lot of money off of what I love to do in life. And not too many people can say that. And if I had listened to people, don't do that, don't do this, you can't do that, no, don't do that, then I would have never actually executed what I wanted to do in life to make me happy and take those chances. So, all right, guys, and I appreciate you watching. I think, Kyle, you're still with me. Whoever's still with me, I appreciate you watching. I'm going to log off right now and just post this up there. And if you want to do YouTube, I'll put my YouTube setup in the video description below. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. And peace out. Now I'm going to stop my live stream. If I can stop my live stream. Here we go. Peace out, guys.